Hi, thank you so much for joining. My name is Kara Goodwin, and I'm the host of the Meditation Conversation podcast, which I think next week, is it next week or the week after, is going to become the Soul Elevation podcast. So we're right on the cusp of that, in my world, exciting change to come about. So thank you so much for being here today. I want to talk about the aura. So, as I mentioned in the description, I have been kind of reading off and on this book called How to See and Read the Aura by, I think his name was Ted Williams, but I put the link in there to credit him because it's a really useful book. But first, let's just talk about the aura, and then we'll get into reading the aura and some of the practical things that I didn't know you could do to help to train yourself to see the aura. And then also, there were some things as I've read this book that make me think back to being a child and the way that I physically saw reality that are kind of coming back as I'm reading about the aura. And I'm like, just curious if I was seeing, like, how I saw the world because we just kinda don't remember, right? And I put that out to you. I wanna put that out to you to see if you can think back to when you were younger, when you were a child, especially early childhood, and if you think that you were seeing things like auras or you were seeing the world, like physical objects, differently than you do today, because I feel like we kind of train ourselves into how to kind of see like a human, like a grown up, and we kind of phase out these subtler ways that we see when we're younger. But we'll get to that. So first of all, the aura. What is the aura? The aura is the energy that is around your body. So you have your physical body, but beyond your presence, the energy that you are, you have energy within your body. You have energy that makes up your physical body, but you also have energy just outside of your body. And even like as a soul, as a spirit being, your energy actually is connected to many, many things outside of this physical reality and this immediate physical reality. But for the purposes of this discussion, let's just keep it to our physical human existence. So we have the physical body, but then we have this energy around us. And that contributes to our physical state. So the energy around us it can be strong and it can be bright and it can be powerful. And that helps to do a couple of, well, many things. But for one thing, it helps to shield us. So the stronger the energy around us, the stronger our aura, the more energetic assistance we have in kind of keeping things that we don't want out of our field. So we can more easily keep like germs and bacteria and things out from affecting us. It might still get into our physical body, but because we've got this strong energy around us, it may not affect us as much as if our energy is weaker. We can become more prone. So when the energy is weaker, we may have gaps or tears in our energy field, in our aura, which are vulnerabilities where other energies, lower energies, can come in and interfere with us, kind of influencing our thoughts, influencing our dreams, influencing our mood, but also influencing eventually our physical health as well. So when we want to keep our energy strong and healthy because it helps us to be more sovereign. It helps us to be more liberated, more owning our own space and creating the reality that we want. Um, so it also helps us to magnetize to us that which we want. And so the stronger our energy field is, the more we can resonate with the frequencies of the higher realms and the higher things that we want to attract to us. So it has kind of a magnetizing, it has like a protection, a shielding effect, but it also has that magnetizing effect to be able to draw to us that which we desire. So people can, this may sound like theoretical, like, okay, maybe there is energy around us, but we can't see it. So how would we know? Well, there are people who can see it. That's the point of the book that I referred to, How to See and Read the Aura, is that you can train yourself to see it. There's a certain type of photography. I always forget what it's called. Is it like cerulean? That might not be the right word, but there's a certain type of photography where you can have your picture taken and it will show you what your aura is. The aura has color to it. It has a strength to it. So, but you can I've had pictures of my aura taken in Sedona, but it shows you this color around you. So there are, different technologies that can show it. And there are also ways that you can have your aura kind of measured, or you can measure your own aura, like how far out your field is. For example, dowsing rods, which are like usually metal, or they can be branches, but like sticks that come together or spread apart. I'm sure you've seen these dowsing rods, but you can work with a partner and have them kind of use dowsing rods to see where your aura begins. And so you can get a sense for how big it is. So let's talk about training yourself to see the aura. And the one thing I just want to emphasize is the fact that it is possible to train yourself to see the aura, which is fascinating because I would imagine, it was surprising to me to learn that, oh, this isn't something that you're either born with or you have this gift or you don't. There are things that you can do to strengthen it. So I'm not going to go through all those exercises here, but I want you to understand that it is possible, and there are things you can do. So the types of exercises that the author of this book offers are things like having different colored circles, just like construction paper that you cut into circles, and you try to look really deeply into it as though you're looking into, and also concentric circles. Like, if you think of traditional hypnosis, like cartoon hypnosis, where they have those spirals and you kind of get hypnotized just watching those spirals because it just kind of sucks you in, but you feel like you're going into a tunnel. But you also can change your eyesight so that it looks like the tunnel's coming toward you. And so it's using that kind of depth perception where you're actually looking at something that's flat, but you're using your eyes to perceive depth. And it can take time to build that up, but you don't even need to have a special like thing that he gives instruction for how you can create these tools to help you. But I have found things just around my home where, like for example, the geometry behind me, you could use that and just softly gaze at it for a while until it feels like it starts to have some depth to it. And then you might be able to change how you're seeing it so that instead of going into the geometry, it's like you're coming out of the geometry. So I have some things around my home that have patterns in them. I mean, even if you have like a rug, you might be able to play with the patterns with your eyes and feel like you're seeing depth within it. And there were other things like just doing eye exercises. So you can, kind of like look up, look down, look to the right, to the left, and do diagonals too. And don't overstrain, but even just spending a couple of minutes a day building up your eye strength, that can help because you're strengthening the rods and cones within the physical structure of the eyes. So these are just some things to play with. Again, this book that I'm talking about, it's a quick read. It's a great resource. There's a lot of practical information in it. So if this is a topic that's interesting to you, it would be worth your time to just grab this book, and then you'll get these practical exercises. The point I want to make here today is just the fact that, wow, there are exercises that we can do to help to increase our ability to see the aura. So the final thing that I wanted to talk about was just how we see. And I think that this will be a good topic to go into deeper in another live. I like to keep these lives short, and I maybe I was a little bit over optimistic about how much I could get through today. But, um, but I've talked about this in other podcast episodes, specifically one that comes to mind is one with Barbara Lamb where we she started to see my aura. I'll try to remember to put this in the show notes, but, she kind of breaks off in the interview and is like, "I can see your aura, and it's doing this, and it's kinda changing color," and that was super fun. But anyway, I can't remember if I think I talked about this in that episode, but I know I've talked about it in other episodes, if not. But I remember being little, being a little child, and these memories are starting to surface where I think that I was seeing things, like seeing energy around people, but because it was like my a fuzziness, or like, because when you're seeing the aura, it's not this like definitive, sharply defined thing the way that our physicality, like if you look at my shoulder, it's really easy to see, like, where my shoulder starts and stops and where the air or the background behind me starts and stops, like, it's very cut and dry. But the aura, it's like you start to blend your, what the person, the physicality with the background, and the background with the physicality, and it's not this cut and dry, like, okay, that's where the aura stops, because you can see the background behind them, right? And you're also looking through your own aura, even if you can't perceive it. So it's very interesting, but I remember being little and feeling like I was sharpening my vision so that I could see more clearly the physicality. So I could see people or trees or whatever it was. It was as though I was learning how to not see energy. And it's hard for me because these are just these I just have glimpses of being a very young child, and so it's hard for me to know, like, are these real memories, or but I there are times that I go back in time and I can remember, like, where I was standing, or if I was in a stroller, or, like, what I was looking at, and that I was, like, sharpening my focus so that I could see it more clearly. But I think that I was not then seeing the energy around it. I was kind of shutting that off so that I could see the physical more clearly. So I just say that in case it prompts anything within you. You may also, if you start to, you may also have memories that come up where you can relate to that. And I'm going to stop there. There's more to come on that, but it's a I think a fascinating topic of how we kind of learn how to be human and to use our human instrument in the way that other people are using it, and maybe shutting off some of these abilities as we go. But thank you so much for watching, and I hope that you are just doing really well. If you're anywhere in near the fires out in LA, I hope that you're very, very safe and that your family is safe. If you're here in the Midwest in the US, it's very, very cold, and we've got another winter storm coming. So I hope you're staying warm. And wherever you are, may you be infinitely blessed. Thank you so much. Bye.